No rain.
A lot of countries, almost all countries in the world, went on a very, very big shutdown. Apart from 4 countries like Sweden, Thailand, Japan, these did not go on a shutdown. But majority countries, big nations, went on a big shutdown. Is an economic shutdown viable? It's a big debate, especially after the 2 months that have passed. What do you think? What's your perspective as an economist?
Well, the short answer is no.
Okay.
Shutting down an entire economy just cannot be done. And in fact, it has not been done. So governments that shut down their economy decided certain businesses are essential. So our political leaders decided what was essential and what was not essential. And we have broad parameters for that. So healthcare facilities are essential.
Correct.
And we all understand that. But if I'm a small business owner and I depend upon my entire livelihood from my small business, forcing me to shut down is going to destroy my livelihood. It's going to prevent me from supporting my family. Bottom line, as a small business owner, my business is essential to me. And so having government decide that my business can fail while others can't diminishes the value of my existence. They're ignoring how this might impact me. So in the United States now, the expectation is Friday of this week, when we look at May's unemployment, it'll be just under 20%. That's prior to the pandemic, unemployment in this country was under 4%. 40 million people have applied for unemployment compensation. Those people have lost a lot because of government shutdown of the economy. Another problem with the government shutdown of the economy is it's a one-size-fits-all. So in the case of Indiana, where I live, right now in Marion County, where the city of Indianapolis is located, there have been 10,000 positive tests for COVID-19, and 600 people have died in that county because of COVID-19. In the county where I live, 46, relative to 10,000, 46 people have tested positive in my county, and there's been 1 death. To treat both of these counties the same doesn't work. We're very different circumstances.
Correct.
So the rules that might be beneficial for Indianapolis are not the same rules that might be beneficial for the county where I live. And so it becomes a very blunt instrument. And what we're doing is diminishing the cost of shutting down the economy. In this country, we're now hearing stories about shutting down the economy is going to affect meat production. Farmers aren't able to get their products to market. So it's affecting our food supply. Shutting down the economy, a growing concern in this country is food insecurity, that people will not be able to feed themselves. So the shutting down the economy becomes such a blunt instrument. Another issue related to the pandemic is it's been fairly obvious globally who is most at risk for this disease.
Right.
That elderly with pre-existing conditions are especially vulnerable. And so we absolutely need to take steps to protect those individuals. And in fact, individuals I know who fall in that category are taking steps themselves. They're being prudent. So they're saying, I'm not going out, I'm at risk. I am going to, in some sense, self-quarantine, even though I'm healthy, because I don't want to take the risk of getting this disease.
Correct.
So we need to be taking precautions for nursing homes, for elderly population who are vulnerable. But to force somebody who is 20 in good health to lose their job because we shut down the economy, that person's bearing a disproportionate share of the cost. They're not the one at risk. And so telling that person they can't take the actions that they need to in order to support themselves seems to me to simply be wrong. Now, again, I'm not advocating going out and having a big party with 50 people. Prudence dictates you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, to be able to go to work with a face mask, with proper sanitizing techniques in place, that seems to me something that should have been going on all along.
Wow. A lot of people are saying actually, yeah, that we have not considered what the economic cost of going on a shutdown is, and that might kill more people because they don't have food, especially in developing countries like that, where I am, India and other developing countries, where people lose jobs and lose livelihoods.
Right, right. And again, those costs are going to be playing out over years. So at some point, hopefully in the nearer future, vaccines develop for the disease. But the cost of what we've done to our economies is going to be a cost that continues for year after year. We've changed things in fundamental ways.
Wow. Just an offshoot of this question, some people say that at what point do you always prioritize the economy? Sometimes you just gotta prioritize people and life and well-being. What do you say to that?
Which people and whose lives are you prioritizing? Is it the elderly? Is it the 20-year-old who worked at a restaurant as a waiter who now has lost the job? Who are you prioritizing? And what does that say about your perspective about those individuals? That you know better than the 20-year-old what the 20-year-old should be doing, that you know better than the elderly what the elderly should be doing? I mean, at some point, I think we have to trust people to act out of prudence, to act with temperance, and to take actions that will be beneficial to themselves. Taking away my livelihood is not helpful for me. Shutting down my small business where I depend upon my livelihood is not helpful to me. As a political leader, can you trust me to take actions that are in my own best interest? And again, if I lived in Indianapolis, I'd be reacting very differently to this situation in terms of my own individual actions than given where I live. They're two different settings, and they would lead to different individual responses on my part.